You've arrived at Ritualistically Botanical on an overcast day in Florida, and I'm in a spicy-ass mood, so let's talk. I want to talk today about the distinction between observation and instruction because there's an important difference. Humans hear somebody describe a storm and accuse the meteorologist of creating rain. Strange species we are. So no, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm a cosmic weather forecaster. Could all of this be bullshit? Absolutely. You'll be the judge of that. Look outside, and by outside I don't mean the trees and the clouds. I mean, look at the world around you. Look at your grocery bill. Look at your rent. Look at the labor force. Look at the panic. Look at the rage. Look at the technology swallowing reality whole while people argue on the internet like raccoons fighting over a French fry in a parking lot. Now let's talk astrology. Everybody keeps talking about Pluto and Aquarius, but most people still haven't even looked at their second house. The second house rules money, resources, possessions, survival, stability, and how you feed yourself. It's your ability to keep your roof over your head, food in your kitchen, gas in your car, and enough nervous system stability to not collapse in the middle of aisle 7 at Publix because meat and coffee now require financing. Life is layered. Life is not fed only by spirituality, affirmations, and green juice. Life is also fed by money, resources, labor, and access. Money is part of the blood supply of modern existence, period. So what sign is on your second house? What planets are in it? Who rules that sign? And where is that ruler sitting in your chart? Because Pluto in Aquarius is going to ripple through all of it. It doesn't necessarily mean Aquarius is sitting in your second house. It means Aquarius is happening somewhere in your chart and Pluto is excavating from there. But the shock waves hit the second house because Pluto is exposing the manipulation surrounding survival itself. Power, resources, control, depth, systems, dependency, fear. That's Pluto territory. Pluto is the fixer, the hitman, the closer, the undertaker, the excavator, the demolition crew. But Pluto is also the transformer. However, transformation sounds beautiful until you realize something has to die first. Something has to be dismantled first. And dismantling is painful, emotionally, psychologically, financially, and yes, physically. Now let's move to Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer, not the water drinker, the water carrier. You are the jug. You are carrying your own water, and inside that water is everything poured into you. Religion, politics, fear, family conditioning, school system, social media, propaganda, trauma, your enemies, your lovers, your parents, your failures, your own self-talk, all the poison you repeated to yourself when nobody else was around. Aquarius says, clean the jug. For some, that water needs to be dumped out entirely and the container itself needs disinfecting. A new filtration system may be needed because the old one is contaminated. And Aquarius does not care whether this process feels emotionally comfortable. It does not care one bit or even considers how attached you may be to your dirty water. That means people will come into your life that just won't give a shit. Now, here's where this gets interesting. Remember Atlas Shrugged? Atlas believed the world rested on the backs of the powerful, the elite, the builders, the owners. But what if Atlas was wrong? What if the real power was never at the top? What if the people carrying society were the workers, the mothers, the laborers, the exhausted, the overlooked, the people at the bottom holding the whole damn thing together quietly while being told they were insignificant? Ayn Rand created Atlas Shrugged. I sometimes wonder whether she ever considered what would happen if it no longer mattered whether Atlas shrugged at all, because nobody was buying what they were selling in the first place. Indeed, what would happen if the people paused? That's the real question. Because, my friends, unlike Atlas, the people are not one giant titan standing above society. The people are Antaeus. In Greek mythology, Antaeus drew strength from touching the earth itself. Every time he was knocked down and touched the ground, he became stronger. That's collective power, ground power, root power. And then there's Sisyphus, another Greek mythological figure. He was condemned to endlessly push the boulder uphill forever. What happens if Sisyphus refuses and lets that boulder just roll downhill? What happens if the people pause long enough to realize, wait a minute, we outnumbered them? That's Aquarius, collective realization. And this is where people get uncomfortable because now we have to talk about systems. The people we the people, are addicted to comfort and convenience. And that is part of the trap. Because if the people paused, it would require actual adjustment. It would mean learning how to grow some of your own food, or at least networking with local growers and supporting them instead of depending entirely on giant systems that can manipulate supply, pricing, and access whenever they chose. It would mean adjusting your diet instead of constantly running for convenience food at Publix or whatever grocery store has become your emotional support system. Humans will fight to the death over a rotisserie chicken and a buy one, get one yogurt sale while the larger system quietly restructures itself around them. Strange times. Convenience is one of the greatest addictions and enslavers of modern people. And Pluto digs directly into addictions, not just drugs, not just alcohol, but addictions to comfort, to routine, to convenience, to distractions, to overconsumption, to not wanting to be inconvenienced, even when the system itself is unsustainable. Maybe Pluto and Aquarius means people begin realizing they cannot consume endlessly without consequence. Maybe it means adjusting habits, using less, needing less, thinking differently about resources, lowering bills where possible, living smaller, leaving a lighter footprint. And none of that sounds glamorous because transformation is not glamorous. While it's happening, it's painful as hell. Pluto transformations become excruciatingly uncomfortable precisely because they force us to confront the debris we normalize. For instance, one of the biggest things that we have right now is everybody yelling, but we have rights. We the people. And they wave the Constitution like it floated down from heaven, carried by bald eagles and sacred light. No, the Constitution was written primarily by white male landowners for white male landowners. It was not written for women. It was not written for indigenous people. It was absolutely not written for enslaved people. And frankly, it wasn't even written for poor white folks who own no land. This is not hatred. This is historical structure. And now look around. Districts being redrawn, voting maps manipulated, community strategically divided, power restructuring itself to maintain control. Pluto, Aquarius, systems, control, collective response. Now hear me carefully because this matters. Aquarius requires us educating ourselves. Educating yourself does not necessarily mean running back to school for another expensive piece of paper while drowning in debt and stress eating string cheese in your car at 11 p.m. Education right now means discernment. Learning how to identify manipulation, learning how to recognize propaganda, learn how to spot emotional engineering, learn how to tell the difference between AI-generated distortion and reality. Learn who benefits from your fear. Learn who profits from your exhaustion. Learn who keeps asking you to stay distracted while they quietly rearrange the walls around you. Aquarius is testing discernment. What's real? What's manufactured? What's performance? What's manipulation? Who is telling the truth? Who is selling you identity as a product? And most importantly, when people tell you who they are, damn it, believe them. Believe them the first time. That's it, folks. That's all I got for you today. And listen, whether you believe astrology or not, look outside. Something is already shifting. Bye now.